gone through 3 transceivers there, and they're pretty well sort of set up. So in that regard, so Graham's got a very interesting. Is that American radio, is it?
Aussie Gang Set.
Aussie Gang Set.
FP900.
Two levels of deviation set up on it, which is quite fascinating. I haven't seen that before. Anyway, is there any questions at all at this stage?
I have an FM900 in my Mini, and it sounds awful. Is by way of adjustment, is it possible to actually make it not sound awful? I mean, or are they just an awful radio?
Awful sound covers a big range.
Well, it's very
tinny. Distorted?
Very tinny and
very tinny.
Or well, distorted, low modulation.
And low modulation. Well, it's probably been set up for a commercial type service, so the deviation needs cranking up a bit to start with. But because it's so tinny, what happens is if you take we take the normal microphone, take the 4 screws out of it, right, lift the insert out, and you'll find there's a piece of sponge rubber in there.
Yeah.
The sponge rubber has gone like a brick.
All right.
And so you scrape it out with a screwdriver, and you get some sponge rubber, and just about that thick, even if it's a thick piece of sponge rubber, cut it down to about a bit over ½ an inch, cut it to the area in there, and then cut the middle out. So it sits around the edge of the insert, right? If you have too much sponge rubber, the reason sponge rubber's gone hard is it's not making the diaphragm move.
I see.
And as a result, you're hearing the high frequencies going through the microphone, not the low frequencies.
That's a good tip. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Or give the microphone to somebody else and it'll sound better.
Now, if you want to be really keen, you can take the dynamic insert out and put a couple of buck insert in there, and you can phantom power it. You'll have to wind not your deviation, but your sensitivity control and your transceiver up a bit, and it'll sound a hell of a lot better again, because now you've got really good audio coming out of electret microphone.
Electret, right.
So that's another one that a lot of chaps do as well in that regard. But that's the main thing, just because being a commercial service, they're knocked around. I actually wash this. When you get them, I feel them from Peter Sturt, which have been obviously in commercial trucks or mining trucks or something, and you take them all apart and wash them, put them all back together again, replace that diaphragm in there, and they sound fine.
And it's got a little 1 transistor amp in it, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that worthwhile replacing, or is it okay?
Well, if you want to put more gain, you could put a little cascade in there. 1 transistor like a cascade amplifier, just get some more audio to drive the transceiver. But the reason it's done, because this equipment operates in all different environments, high RF fields, you don't want the sensitivity. The sensitivity of that dynamic insert is around about 3 millivolts.
Right.
And the microphone in there will take it up to about 20-25 millivolts to drive the transceiver. And remembering that this one's a homemade lead, it's a short lead, so you can operate the transceiver. I mean, instead of having this 18-foot of bloody cable on the bloody thing, I make these up and just use a short cable. So you've got the audio going to that 18-foot of cable, which will be a loss. Besides the audio coming from the microphone, by the time it goes through the 18-foot of cable to the transceiver, you've probably lost about ½ a millivolt to start with. So the preamp is designed to do that. It's mainly to get over any induced interference, RF interference into the microphone.
So they like about 25 millivolts
if you want to feed them directly, so you've got a microphone input on the 8-pin here. There's an auxiliary plug there. It's got the PTT, it's got the audio input, it's got constant audio out, and when the volume control's turned down, if you want to use it for recording purposes, there's constant audio coming out of there. There's also a thing called cradle. What's that all about? The microphone normally has got this clip on it, and it sits in a metal cradle on the dashboard. When it does that, the reed switch operates in it. When the reed switch operates, it then allows the voting system and the CTCS system in a commercial service to operate. If you want to use scanning, these can be programmed to scan. There's 2 groups of scanning you can put in them, and you can scan groups of frequencies. The only way you can do it, you've got to put the microphone on a metal plate, so the reed relay closes in there, which then allows you to push the button up here to scan.
Gotcha.
A lot of people say, oh, they've got an FM900 or whatever, but they said it was programmed to scan, but I can't make it scan because they don't put the microphone on metal insert to operate the switch in the microphone.
No, I did discover that. I did.
A bracket with a magnet.
Yes.
And you just have to put it on that.
That's right, yeah, well there's a microphone cradle that goes on your dash, and when you do that, it just operates the read switch and then allows hit the button here and you go out and scan, whichever groups you want.
I did have to bolt one into the Mini before it would scan, yeah, I discovered that. That's great.
Any other questions at all? I know it'll be about 6 screws, and I'll just take these out, and you'll see it from the other side. It's probably made from the forward side as well. They are also very well shielded. They're double shielded, these radios, so the amount of interference produced is quite minimal. So we have a look at the radio from this point of view. In a commercial operation, for some unknown reason, they discard the cover which goes over the actual VCO and the ICs there. This card is kept on because the actual EEPROM is in there, the microprocessor is in there as well. This particular board here is the CTCSS encoder decoder, and this particular board here is the cell call system that's installed in it. They're options for them, that these radios are fitted with that. You come down to this particular part here, this is the audio amplifier here, and there's 3 potentiometers there. So the 3 potentiometers, one is the balance, one is deviation, and one's microphone sensitivity. So I think in your particular case, it's the middle one here, needs to be brought up to about a bit over, about 5/8 turned on. Looks like it gives you pretty well, and they're all reproducible in this regard. You see that clock's about 5/8 turned on, sort of clockwise. That should give you about a 4 or 5 kilohertz deviation. You can see it there. So I'll give you a bit of an idea of what the radio looks like in that regard. All the RF part of it, that's all the microprocessor part there. And the RF side is all on this side here. The receiver and the transmitter board, it's all on that side.
Well, that's great. Thanks very